Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're the show that really gets into your sources to pull out those key bits of wisdom.
That's what we do.
And today, we're setting out to unlock Elizabeth Gilbert's amazing book, Big Magic: Creative Living Beyond Fear. It's honestly transformative stuff.
It really is. And not just for, artists in the traditional sense.
Exactly. This isn't just about painting or writing novels. It's about how you can claim a richer life day to day.
Right. Gilbert's whole point is redefining creative living. It's not a job title, it's a choice you make. Choosing, curiosity instead of fear.
Courage over perfectionism.
Yes. And actually finding joy in making things, whatever they are. She calls it an amplified life. It's just bigger, more interesting, and honestly, happier.
And it's for everyone. That's key.
Absolutely. Not some exclusive club.
So the big question she throws out there, really throwing it out to you listening, is, do you have the courage to bring forth the treasures that are hidden within you?
That's the core of it.
And our mission today is to give you some tools, some ideas from the book to help you answer that with a big yes.
Let's do it.
Okay, first up, courage. Gilbert starts with this fantastic story about the poet Jack Gilbert. No relation, interestingly.
Yeah, fascinating guy.
He won big prizes, Pulitzer nomination, even featured in Vogue, could have been huge, but he just vanished.
Walked away from it all.
Yeah, went to live in a shepherd's hut in Greece for 20 years. Said fame was just boring compared to actually doing the work.
It's incredible.
And he wrote things like, we must risk delight, and we must have the stubbornness to accept our gladness in the ruthless furnace of this world. Powerful stuff.
And what he taught his students is so relevant here. He basically said, live your most creative lives as a way to fight back against that ruthless furnace. It wasn't about fame or being a public figure. It was the quiet, everyday bravery of just following what interests you.
Yeah.
You're refusing to be diminished.
So the courage isn't always loud. It's often that internal devotion.
Exactly. Choosing the craft over the applause.
Which ties into how Gilbert broadens creative living, right? It's not just professionals, like her friend Susan.
Oh, the figure skater. Yes.
Yeah, took up figure skating again at 40. She'd quit as a kid, thought she wasn't good enough for competitions.
Like so many of us do.
Right. But at 40, she just started again. Pushed past feeling silly, ignored the self-consciousness, and just skated.
3 mornings a week, wasn't it? Before work.
Finding pure joy, she said, transcendence. It wasn't about winning anything. It was about living that amplified life just by doing it.
That is the win.
Yeah.
And it connects to Gilbert's own journey with fear. She's really open about being scared her whole life, calls herself Pitiful Pearl.
Yeah.
But then she had this realization, like an aha moment, that her fear was just, boring.
Boring.
Yeah, just this repetitive stoppy, suppy, no nuance, no originality, same as everyone else's basic anxiety, the panic reflex of her dumbest inner tadpole, I think she calls it.
That's brilliant.
And realizing that helped her stop identifying with the fear. It's a really useful insight. A lot of our fear isn't that special. It's just background noise we can choose to tune out.
That idea of boring fear is so freeing. It helps separate, the useful fear, don't walk into traffic, from the useless fear that stops you trying something new.
Right. The creative fear.
Yeah. She compares that fear to a mall cop who thinks he's a Navy SEAL.
Yes. Overreacting like crazy.
Totally. Hyper vigilant, trying to protect you from things that aren't actually dangerous, like, writing a poem or taking a pottery class. You need the mall cop for real danger, not for creativity.
So, okay, if we know fear is there, and maybe it's boring, but it's still loud, what do we do?
Well, this is where her road trip metaphor comes in. It's so practical.
Yeah, I love this one.
She says, invite fear along for the ride. It's coming anyway, right?
Might as well acknowledge it.
Exactly. Give it a seat and a voice. Let it talk. But, and this is the crucial bit, tell it clearly, you are absolutely forbidden to drive.
Non-negotiable.
Totally. It's not about getting rid of fear. It's about coexisting peacefully so you can actually move forward into that terrifying but marvelous terrain of unknown outcome.
Without fear grabbing the wheel every 2 seconds.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So why should you, listening right now, care about this road trip? Because, as Gilbert puts it so well, your life is short and rare and amazing and miraculous.
And you want to do really interesting things and make really interesting things while you're still here.
Right. The clock's ticking. Getting those hidden treasures out takes work, faith, focus, and courage to just keep going.
Okay, so we've got courage. Let's talk about the other side of the coin. Enchantment. The magic part.
Yes, the big magic itself. Gilbert totally believes in magic, like actual magic, especially with creativity. She tells this story about getting an idea for a novel.
The Amazon highway one.
That's the one, about a highway project swallowed by the jungle. The moment she heard about it, she got chills, felt dizzy.
The symptoms of inspiration.
Exactly. She said it felt just like falling in love. For her, that was the idea literally arriving.
And her belief here is pretty unique. She thinks ideas are these disembodied, energetic life forms.
Like little spirits.
Kind of. With their own consciousness, their own will, and they're out there looking for human partners to help them become real.
Wow.
They send signals, she says, and they sort of ask, hey, you want to work with me?
Yeah.
It makes you think about being receptive, doesn't it? Being open for that magic to find you.
But what if life gets in the way? Like, you get the signal, but you can't act on it.
Well, what happened to her? With that Amazon idea, actually. Evelyn of the Amazon, she called it.
Right. She had to put it aside to write Committed because of personal stuff.
Yep. Put it in a box, promised she'd come back. But when she finally did, maybe 2 years later,
The spark was gone.
totally gone. She felt the idea had just gotten tired of waiting and left, like that bulldozer in the jungle story.
Ouch.
But her advice is key. Accept it. Accept the loss with humility and grace, she says, and move on fast. Don't get stuck mourning what left. Stay open for the next thing.
That's tough, but probably essential.
And then comes the really wild part, the truly big magic moment.
With Ann Patchett.
Yes. Years later, she meets Ann Patchett. They become friends, start writing letters, and then Ann mentions she's working on a novel about the Amazon jungle.
No way.
Oh, yes. They compare notes, and it turns out their plots are basically identical. Like eerily specific stuff. Spinster from Minnesota, married boss, Amazon scheme, missing person, missing money, love story.
That's crazy.
The only real differences were the time period and the industry involved.
Yeah.
And Gilbert's conclusion.
The kiss.
She literally thinks the idea might have jumped from her to Ann Patchett when they kissed hello that first day they met.
Wow. That is big magic.
Right. And what's amazing is how she processed it. No bitterness, no feeling ripped off.
No, she called it multiple discovery.
Exactly. Like calculus being invented by two different people around the same time, or evolution.
Newton and Leibniz, Darwin and Wallace.
Yeah. She just saw it as proof that ideas are alive, they have agency, and they'll find the quickest way to get born. It flips the script from scarcity to abundance.
It really does. It suggests ideas are just out there waiting.
This connects to older ideas, actually. The Greeks had eudaimonia, being guided by a good spirit. The Romans believed you had a genius, an external guiding force.
Not that you were a genius.
Crucial difference. Gilbert argues that after the Renaissance, we started demanding artists to be geniuses.
Yeah.
And that pressure, it can be crippling.
Like Harper Lee.
Possibly. After the Rue, To Kill a Mockingbird, she was silent for decades. Gilbert wonders if she was just pinned beneath the boulder of her own reputation, that fear of not popping yourself.
Yeah, that's intense pressure.
But Gilbert pushes back. She wishes Lee had just churned out 5 cheap and easy books after the Pulitzer.
Just to stay in the game, stay loose.
Exactly, to liberate herself, to make things just for the quiet glory of merely making things, not to constantly win. Because inspiration, as Gilbert says, it comes and goes. Our job is just to keep working, assisted or unassisted.
Keep showing up. Okay, that flows nicely into the next big ideas, permission and persistence.
2 huge ones.
Gilbert points to her parents here. Her dad, in the Navy, built a suggestion box, like he was told.
And then put in the first suggestion. I suggest that you remove the suggestion box.
Classic. And her mom was this amazing DIY force, could make or fix anything.
That quietly impudent self-assertion.
Yeah. They taught her, fundamentally, you do not need anybody's permission to live a creative life.
That is so important. Because creativity is our birthright. I mean, think about it. Human art is way older than agriculture.
Yeah.
We've been makers forever.
40,000 years versus 10,000, right?
Something like that.
Yeah.
So Gilbert talks about creative entitlement, or the arrogance of belonging. Not being egotistical, but just believing.
That you're allowed to be here.
Yeah. And just by being here, you're allowed to have your own voice, your own vision, own your space.
And that ties into authenticity, not necessarily originality. She says, look, most things have already been done.
But they have not yet been done by you. That's the key.
Yeah.
Your perspective makes it new.
And you don't have to aim to save the world with your art either. Create for your own pleasure, she says. Or even self-preservation.
Like her nun friend, who helped the homeless because she genuinely enjoyed it, found fulfillment in it. not out of some grim duty.
Your own reasons are enough. That's really freeing.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it's why she's kind of skeptical about expensive MFA programs, too. If you're doing the work consistently with love, you're already legit. You don't need a fancy degree to give you permission.
You need persistence.
You need persistence, and you need to be willing to eat the shit sandwich.
Haha. Her famous term. Explain that one.
Which just means every creative path, no matter how much you love it, has parts that suck.
Yeah.
Admin, rejection, boring bits, whatever. If you love the core activity enough, you'll put up with the crap that comes with it.
She said she'd eat someone else's shit sandwich just to write more.
Now that's devotion.
So how do you persist, especially if you need to, pay bills? The day job dilemma.
Right. Gilbert is huge on this. She kept day jobs for ages, even after getting published. Saw them as patrons, basically.
A studio wife for her creativity.
Exactly. It takes the financial pressure off your art. Your creativity doesn't have to pay the rent, so it's free to play, to fail, to explore.
She mentions Toni Morrison writing at 5 a.m. before her publishing job.
J.K. Rowling is a single mom, and Patchett waiting tables. Lots of examples.
It's about finding a way no matter what.
Yeah, like the man in India she mentions, who owned just an ox but painted its horns bright pink and turquoise.
Just because.
Just because. Using things residual, scraps he had, just to add delight. It shows that lack of time or resources. It's common, but people create anyway. The core ingredients, courage, enchantment, permission, persistence, trust, they're available to everyone.
So even if it's just 15 minutes a day in a stairwell.
Have that affair with your most creative self. Sneak away, lie about lunch, wake up early. Make it happen for you.
Okay, but what stops people? Perfectionism, that's a big one.
UGE. Gilbert calls it fear in fancy shoes and a mink coat.
Very stylish fear.
Deceptive. Especially for women, she notes, who often feel they have to be flawless, which stops them before they even start.
So what's the antidote?
Be a deeply disciplined half-ass.
Love that.
Embrace the motto, done is better than good. She actually did this with her novel, The Signature of All Things. Knew a character was underdeveloped, but released it anyway rather than get stuck trying to make it perfect.
Wow. That takes guts.
It does. She quotes Marcus Aurelius, "Be satisfied with even the smallest progress. Just keep moving."
And then there's that ultimate permission slip she offers, which I find hilarious and true.
Oh, the nobody's thinking about you anyway line?
Yes. It sounds harsh, but it's so liberating. People are mostly wrapped up in their own stuff.
Which means you're free. Free to make your stupendously imperfect work because, honestly,
it's exceedingly likely that nobody will even notice.
So just make it. The freedom is in the making.
Okay, last section. Trust in divinity. This gets a bit deeper.
Yeah, she asks this really profound question. Do you believe that writing loves you in return?
Challenging that whole tormented artist stereotype.
Totally. The idea that suffering makes your art better. Mailer saying his books killed him. Oscar Wilde calling art a long, lovely suicide. Gilbert's just like, nope.
Self-destruction doesn't help the art. It just kills the artist.
Pretty straightforward. So instead, choose stubborn gladness. Choose trust. And this leads to the martyr versus trickster idea.
Martyr embraces the suffering. Trickster embraces playfulness.
Exactly. The trickster finds lighter ways. Trusts the universe's weirdness. Like Brene Brown figuring out her writing process.
Oh yeah, she hated writing but loves storytelling.
Right. So she got colleagues to take notes while she just told them the stories, laughing and being herself. She found a trickster move to make it joyful and actually better.
Choosing joy is the path. I like that.
And that lightness applies to the work itself, too. Remember her first published story, Pilgrims?
Esquire asked her to cut like 30% because an advertiser pulled out.
Yeah. She agonized about integrity, but then just did it. Cut the polished ground.
And realized
the sacred part wasn't the finished product. It was the time spent working on it. How that time expanded her imagination. That's why she says, don't call your work your baby.
because you get too precious, can't change it or let it go.
Exactly. You got to be willing to edit to release it.
So how do you find these big projects if passion feels too intimidating?
Curiosity. She champions curiosity over passion. Passion can feel like this huge, scary fire. Curiosity is smaller, quieter, more accessible.
Like with the signature of all things, it started small.
Super small. Just a flicker of interest in gardening. She followed that tiny clue, then another, and it snowballed into this epic novel about botanical history. Trust the whispers.
And when things go wrong, adopt the "that's interesting" mindset.
Yes. Instead of, that's awful, try, That's interesting. Like director Mike Nichols watching his flops with curiosity.
How did that scene fail? Interesting.
Right. And if you're stuck, do something else. Anything else. Like the artist friend who started painting kids' bikes with stars just for fun.
And it tricked him back into his real work.
Playfulness can break inertia, which all leads back to fierce trust.
Not trust in success, but trust in the process.
Trust enough to put your work out there, knowing the outcome truly doesn't define its worth. It makes you ask yourself,
What would you do even if you knew that you might very well fail?
yeah, because honestly, what else are you going to do with your time here? If not make things, try things.
That brings us perfectly to that final story, the lobster costume.
Oh, brilliant. The young artist goes to a fancy medieval ball, totally misreads the invitation, shows up dressed as a lobster.
Mortifying.
Totally. He almost ran away, but instead he just decides, screw it, walks in proudly and announces himself, I am the court lobster.
Huh. And he ends up dancing with royalty.
Lesson being, you made it. Put it out there. Don't apologize. Don't explain. Don't be ashamed. Own your lobster suit. Even if you just dance in the corner. Don't miss the party.
Don't miss the party. Love it.
It's like that Balinese accidental grace story, too. Dance is first done just for tourists. Kind of meaningless.
Over time, they became so refined, so beautiful, they ended up being used in sacred temple ceremonies.
Yeah. The lines blurred between silly and sacred, profane and profound. It shows that divinity can only really engage with us when we're playful, when we're not taking ourselves too seriously.
Wow. So wrapping up, it's all about embracing the paradox, isn't it?
Totally. Creativity is sacred, and it's not sacred. What we make matters immensely, and it doesn't matter at all.
We work alone, but we have these unseen helpers. We're scared, but we're brave.
It's a chore, and it's a privilege. Gilbert says, just live in that tension. Make space for all of it.
Embrace the contradictions.
Yes, because only when we're playful, when we're dancing in our lobster suit, can divinity really get serious with us. So the final thought for you is, make space for that playfulness, for all these paradoxes.
And remember, the treasures hidden inside you, they're really hoping you'll say yes.